new power. Will they fight them? America has a plan. The Guardian recently had 2 pages from the Institute of Strategic Studies, that well-known organization that has been trying to scare us all the way through the Cold War. It had a report saying that where all the flashpoints were in the world, in China. They only had that much for the United States, which of course is the biggest threat to everybody. And China was clearly a threat because it's coming up and its growth rate is enormous and so on. I think that doesn't bode well for any of us. It's just more of an imperial power. It's a clash, and certainly modern history is very much a clash of imperial powers. But I think what is interesting about public opinion today as a power is that it's not accepting that. I've never known people to be better informed in all my years as a journalist than they are now. And that may even include a consciousness about how the world ought to be run. There's that terrible word, multipolar. I think they mean that it should be run by various states. Yes, the more powerful, undoubtedly, will have more power. But there's ways of restraining them. I think we're only at the beginning of really working out a truly democratic modern era. And that's for that reason I find some of the events in that benighted continent, Latin America, exciting, because they've come from the grassroots, they've come from the ground up, in the same way that real democracy was nurtured in this country from the ground up. It's a long road ahead, but the idea that we should sit back and just accept some pundit or other or politician telling us that China's the next power, I don't think so.
Okay, can we take a question there?
Yeah. Whilst I greatly admire your challenging journalism, do you not think perhaps you overstate the case of what the non-Pilger media are like? You seem to suggest, if I've got it right, that in the lead-up to the Iraq War, everybody went along with the government line. Then perhaps at its most extreme, you said that no television is worth watching, except presumably your own documentaries. Whilst many of us here, I'm sure, are driven to distraction by the bias of the British media, it seems to me actually there are some great newspaper journalists out there who do challenge the government. There are some courageous filmmakers out there doing the same thing. It's not quite as monolithic as you want to suggest.
Well, I didn't say that. I said that I didn't believe television news. There's a distinction. I think your own broad brush is at work here. I agree with you. I think there are some fine documentary makers, and we've seen them